What is a will? A will is a death deed. It tells us where you want your property to go upon your passing. Literally, the word means what it is. It is your will, what you want to happen upon your passing. Why should you do one? Well, it's simple. If you do not do a will, then state law distributes your property. And state law is just the default rules. It isn't your actual distribution of what you want to happen. And state legislatures do not know your situation specifically. They kind of have to make a general determination of how to leave your property. So why should you do a will? Because you want to take control of the distribution of your property upon your passing, and you want to be able to pick the people who you believe are going to be best suited to accomplish that task. We commonly refer to that as your executor of your will. So common questions I get is executors are for wills, trustees are for trusts. It's a distinction that if you can make in your mind will make things simple. Best way I can give to you is give you an example of why you should do a will. So I had an old woman come into my office, and she had been married to a man for 50 years. They had one child together. She came in, I asked her if she had a will. She said no, and I said, okay, we're going to have to probate your estate or do what we refer to as a determination of heirship in the state of Texas. In the state of Texas, when we distribute property without a will, the application process we refer to as the determination of heirship. We got to determine who the heirs are to figure out who we need to give the property to. So we filed the application, and the court hired an attorney. The attorney's job was to try to find out who needed to receive this property. So lo and behold, I get a call about a month into it from the attorney ad litem, and the attorney ad litem says to me, well, I've done my investigation, and it has been concluded that there was another child. That this man, when he was 16 years old, had a child with a woman that he never, ever met this child. What happened back in the day, it was very traditional this to happen, that the young woman took the child, raised the child, and the father was kind of excluded. That is a very common scenario to happen, especially back in the 1950s, 1960s. So I called up my client and I had to inform her. Under Texas law, when you have a child outside of marriage, all the property passes to the children, not to the spouse, community property. So his 50% of the community property was going to go to these two children, her daughter and the child outside of the marriage. Now, if you want to think about that for a second, most families now are blended families, especially when someone passes away. The property does not pass to the spouse. It passes to the children, and this creates all type of problems. It would have been very simple to avoid all those problems that subsequently came after the revelation of the new child. If this man would have just taken the time to create a will, none of this would have been an issue. That is why you create a will, is you take control of the situation and you pick where you want your property to go and who you want to take control of that situation. You know the best, you know your family, so take control of it and create a will.